So hi, I'm Paramita Chakrabarty. I'm the director of the PhD admissions and recruitment program. I have with me several people who are part of the program. Miss Sarah Burns is part of the administration. Dr. Flint is actually part of the master's um, program. And if anyone here wants to know more about master's program, they can, definitely ask questions. We have two of us current students, Sabrina and Sarah, with us. And last but not actually two, Dr. Jason is a PhD program coordinator, and Ms. Melissa Naidu is also one of our administrators for the program. Okay, so all right. So I just want to, these are just different pictures. You can see some of our faculty here, some of our graduate students in this one. So yeah, this basically is a showcase of our program here, and I want to sort of highlight the fact that we are in the top 5 of the public universities. So yay for us. Anyway, moving on. So this is basically an overall picture of our graduate program. Our chair is Dr. Jennifer Bison. She may or may not join us today, depending on how busy she is. Her days are busy. And then PhD program coordinators are Dr. Jason, who's with us today, and Dr. Eduardo Candelario Jalil. For the masters and online program coordinators, we have Dr. Sarkeesian, Dr. Semple Rowland, Dr. Ron Mandel. And PhD committee, I chaired the PhD committee. I'm Paramita. And then we have some very, very talented, both young, junior, as well as senior faculty on this committee. We have Dr. Fredison Martinez Rivera. He has just joined us and he's doing great science. We have Dr. Matthew Lavoy in neurology department. He's a senior professor and director of a center. Dr. Diego Rincon Limas is also a senior professor from neurology. We have Dr. Paula Giusti Rodriguez. She's from psychiatry, and Dr. Amanda Elton from psychiatry. I'm reading off the names just to let people know that we do have a lot of diversity in terms of the people who sit in the committee and who review all the different applications that come in. Okay, so I think before we start discussing about the science, we should say why Gainesville, right? Gainesville is a small little town. I will give you that. It's not Miami, nor is it Tampa, but this is a very nice place to live, right? And I think you would agree, Sabrina, being from Miami, that Gainesville is much better. Okay, so one of the things I would like to highlight is that University of Florida, is one of the most premier institutions in the Southeast. I just told you that we now rank in the top 5 in the whole country. We have been ranked we've got top ranks as a college town. The PhD students here get competitive stipend. It's a little upward of 31,000 per year. You may have heard of higher stipend from other places, but I want to remind you that the cost of living index for Gainesville is actually below the national average. So it's pretty affordable here. And the rents, I was just looking around, the rents are very much affordable in Gainesville compared to other places of the country. We have a diverse workforce and population. It's a very young population. The median age is 26. So if you're coming here, you would be able to find friends and socialize. We are also adjacent to the Sid Martin Incubator. So once you graduate or during your graduation, if you feel like working or interning in a pharmaceutical environment, you can just hop off to the next town, which is Alachua right here, and you can seek your internship or a job post-graduation. We have a subtropical climate, so it gets a little humid at times, but mostly, for example, right now, it's getting very, pleasant. So we don't have any snow, which for me is great. I do not want to live where there is snow and I have to drive out. And we do have a lot of spring state parks. We don't have beaches right here, but all beaches are 2 hours from now. And for somebody who is into Disneyland stuff, that's also 2 hours from here, right? And what I like about our city is that it's very quaint. It's a small downtown. It's been actually expanding a lot recently, but there are some excellent local restaurants, cafes, breweries, and we have farmers markets, more than one in the city. So, and some fun fact: Gatorade was invented at UF. Gators are our mascot, so it's Gator Aid. And also, if you are into rock and roll, Tom Petty was born in Gainesville. Okay, now let's get down to our program, and I've already introduced Dr. Jason to you, and Dr. Candelaria Jalil is the other program coordinator. Miss Ikea Young will actually handle many of the paperwork that you will be, when you're signing or when you are looking at information. She will be a main point of contact, and her information is written right here. Oh, I need to stop and say something. If any of you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, and Miss Sarah will answer them, or we will take the questions when we finish this presentation. All right. So before you go anywhere, you need to know what are the metrics of the PhD program you're joining. So I want to give a very overview of our program. So currently we have 53 PhD students enrolled. We have master's students, and there's a online certificate course also that we offer. So altogether, we have 176. So we are quite a big program here. And if any of you are interested in pursuing the master's research or the online master's or the online certificate, just feel free to shoot a question, right in the chat, and we will take down your information and we'll get back to you. So who are our students? So our students, as undergrads, they come from very many different, backgrounds. So most of them are from biological sciences, and then we have some from engineering, psychology, neuroscience, and health professions. So you might ask, where do they end up in, right? Do they end up only in the neuroscience department? I'm in neuroscience department. I would like to say no, they actually end up in other departments also, because we have a lot of affiliate faculty who are actually primary faculty in other departments such as neurology or psychiatry, but they have graduate status in our department. So this basically again goes to show that we recruit students from diverse places, and we also send them out into different departments depending on what their research interests are. The median years to graduate, 4.2. I bet you that this should be one of the best sort of metric from an R1 university. I hope people know what an R1 university is. I think this is a very good metric for an R1 university. And the total number of credits that you'll need to graduate is 90 credits. So before we talk about these credits and what do I mean by these research credits and everything, let me just tell you, we are a research-heavy university. We are R1 university. So we do have a research mission statement. And once students come here, they will be doing most of the time will be spent on research. Most of us are NIH funded, and our students generally work on NIH funded projects. So research is a very important part of it. And we believe, this is our statement, we believe that we will make impactful discoveries that elucidate nervous system function and eradicate neural disease. This is our belief. This is what we want our students to actually adhere to. And that should be the motto as you're going through this neuroscience program. Now, and some other metrics in terms of national ranking, in terms of NIH, as I just told you that we have a lot of faculty that are NIH funded. We actually are third overall in the country in terms of NIH funding. So top is USD, then you have Mount Sinai, and third is University of Florida. The dollar amount here is not important. What is important is that we do have a lot of faculty that are funded, and obviously they will be looking for, not obviously, many of them will be looking for students for their research program to continue. Okay, so what do we work on? So the major areas of research are cognitive aging and memory, neurodegenerative diseases, addiction, psychiatric disorders, pain, brain and spinal cord repair, neurobiology of breathing, developmental and sensory systems, mental health disorders, and brain cancer. Now, as I was telling you, we bring in diversity. We also send students out into diverse labs. And these labs might be in different departments. They might be in different centers, for centers and institutes. For example, this city R&D is where I work. I'm a neuroscientist, but I work in the city R&D. We have a normal Fixel Institute where they do a lot of the neurodegenerative disease research. We have a Center for Smell and Taste, which is sort of self-explanatory. We have a Center for Neurogenetics. They work on neurodegenerative diseases, and they work on very many basic cell biology of neurodegenerative disorders. We have a Breathing Research and Therapy Center. We have Center for Cognitive Aging and Memory, and a Center for Addiction Research and Education. So you might end up in neuroscience department and then basically work with PIs or principal investigators who are part of different centers. So that again shows how the depth and the breadth of our program. Now, to really work on a successful research program, you need to have access to resources and infrastructure. And this is just one slide I've put on here because, I just like the nice little, color things here. We have a light sheet microscope. If you know what tissue clearing is, you can actually look for different molecules that are interested in the whole brain. So you can this is basically a whole brain that has been imaged using a microscope. This is a multiphoton microscope. We also have a 7T and an 11T Tesla small animal MRI. Very few places in the country are equipped with this high magnet capacities. We also have different ways of doing spatial transcriptomics and spatial genomics. I mentioned only geomics, but I believe that there are many labs who are working on other technologies also that are related to this. We have a core a center here, which is called ICBR. It's something core. I should know this, but I don't know. And so in the core, you'll find there are different if you have a bioinformatics question, or you want to do flow cytometry, or you want to do electron microscopy, you want to generate monoclonal antibodies, or you want to do DNA sequencing, or you want to do proteomics, you could actually go to the ICBR core and drop off your sample, or have a consultation with the scientist there. And that really helps your research project when you're starting to do something new in your lab. So remember, I talked to you about the research credits. So you have to complete 90 credits. So how do you get about it? So this is our PhD curriculum, and I'm going to just talk about year 1 and year 2 here. So once you join in the fall semester. We don't generally do intakes in the summer semester here. In the fall semester, you're going to do 9 credits. We highly encourage you to take functional human anatomy and principles of neurophysiology. You'll be attending neuroscience seminars. By attending the seminars, that also gives you 1 credit because you'll be learning about the science from talented investigators from all over the country. You'll also be starting your laboratory rotations during this time. Okay. The next one is a spring semester. So you'll be continuing your laboratory rotations, or even better, you would have identified your PI of choice, the individual's lab, the mentor's lab that you want to join. During this spring semester, you have to complete another 9 credit, and there are a couple of different topics that you have to complete. And the one that is very important here, and we really want to stress on this, is statistics for neuroscientists and the statistics for neuroscientists lab course that you have to complete. So we are a 12-month university or a college. This is a college of medicine, so doctors don't ever take holidays. So we also don't take holidays. We work through the summer. So during summer, you will be working also in the lab. So generally, you can take elective courses in the summer, but mostly you do your dissertation work. So that's about 6 credits, and then if you take any elective courses, that adds on to it. The next fall semester, you'll be taking a couple more courses. The most one notable one is the neuroscience grant writing, because this is going to set you up for an NIH-style grant that is needed for your qualifying exam, as well as for submitting a grant to the NIH to get support for your research and for your salary. I want to say that that your salary or your stipend will be supported by your investigators, but we highly, highly encourage that you get your own funding because, well, you write a grant, you basically become an academic scientist at that time. Then comes spring semester. So basically, you're doing advanced research. You're really neck deep into your research at this time, and then we recommend that you qualify. So qualifying exam is when when you are really doing your PhD. We deem you that you are not ready to really go. You're not dipping your toes. You are jumping right into that pool of academic research. Okay, so we recommend that you do your qualifying exam um, in year two, end of year two, beginning of year three, so summer and early fall, so that by the fall of year, that is the beginning of year three, you're ready to submit an NIH grant. So that was a lot of information. So I just want to simplify it. Okay. So year one, you're doing lab rotations and you're selecting your mentor. And then you're also doing a lot of coursework in year one. So starting in fall and moving into spring. In year two, you have already sort of identified which lab you're joining, and you are continuing your neuroscience coursework. And there is another set of coursework that we offer. It's called artificial intelligence customized coursework. I'm not going to talk about that. That's a specialized thing that we offer. I'm happy to talk offline about that. And during year two, as you end year two, you'd be advancing to candidacy, which is your qualifying exam. In year three, you're doing your advanced research, and years 4 and 5, you'll be thinking about publishing papers and graduating out of the program and seeking a postgraduate work. Okay, so this is a little bit about the artificial intelligence program that we have. So we currently support 3 students under this ERS, Emerging Research Scholar Program. So you would have to have some previous experience in coding, in understanding what artificial intelligence is, how it is related to biological sciences, and you would have to seek out a mentor who is an ERS mentor who'll be able to guide your project in those ways. Again, there's a lot of information on this one, on this slide. I'm not going to go through everything, but this is on a selection basis. So we basically basically select however many students we're accepting in a given year, and then there are 3 spots that are offered to those students on a competitive basis under this ERS program. I'm happy to talk offline about this, and I think Miss Sarah, Miss Melissa, they can all answer those questions. Okay, so I said all about like you have to do this, you have to do that, and it's a lot of like doing, right? So what do you get in return? So you get to get a lot of honors, you get to get a lot of awards. These are competitive again, but all of these things make you, I don't know, happy, right? I get happy if I get selected for an award. So what are the different awards that we give out? Not we as a department, but also the college, and also there are some statewide competitions, competitive awards. So one of the ones that are very much on every graduate student's radar is called B.W. Robinson Memorial Endowment for the neuroscience. That gives you a reward of $4,000 if you are the topper. The department gives out Harry Nick Award for Research Excellence. Harry Nick is a professor emeritus in our department, and he was a great mentor and educator for our department. So he set up this award for emerging researchers. We also have the Ludge Awards for Leadership or Outstanding Graduate Research in Neuroscience. Dr. Ludge was our founder, so this is also historically this has been a very important award for our students. We have Medical Guild Competition. This which is also quite a good reward of $1,000. Advancement to Candidacy Award. I believe this is at the college and the university level. Then there's Education Initiative Awards, College of Medicine Celebration of Research Awards, and there are numerous other Travel Research and Training Enhancement Awards supported by the Magnet Brain Institute, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So let's celebrate some people who have been awarded recently, and I am not giving everybody's names, and I apologize if you are on the call and if you don't see your faces. So Mackenzie Bolin in Dr. Malutansis' lab was selected for the Harry Nick Award for Research Excellence. She also was the first place. She also got the first place in the B.W. Robinson Memorial Endowment Award. Grace Lloyd, also from Dr. Benoit Giessen's lab, was the Silver Award winner for the 2023 Medical Guild. And Samantha Smith got the advancement to, was awarded Advancement to Candidacy Award this year. This is Dr. William Ludge. He's a founder of the MBI, and we are very proud. He has passed away, and there's an award instituted in his name. These are some of the people who have got the award. In 2023, it was Grace Lloyd. You saw her picture in the previous slide. So yeah, I think it's a very it's a good thing. This one is very important for us. So I've talked a little bit about the MBI and how MBI also offers rewards and honorariums for travel and other support. So this is the MBI building. McKnight Brain Institute building. This is where many of our departmental faculty have their labs. My lab is not here. My lab is in a different department, but it's just like 2 minutes walking distance from here. So we like to think about MBI. MBI is an institute, not necessarily, it's not really our department. Department is separate, but we like to think about MBI as a partner in neuroscience education research. I would say neuromedicine research, education and research, because MBI supports people from neurosurgery and other departments, also neurology and other departments. As I said, MBI actually spends quite a lot of money, gives us a lot of support every year for training and education initiatives. For example, it gives out travel support for attending conferences. It gives out travel support as well as other type of per diem or anything that you might need for attending short courses or workshops that are very critical for your PhD project. And it also supports training experience or short internships. If you have to go somewhere, stay for a month to pick up a technique, you can apply to MBI with a project proposal, and it will be competitively evaluated. Okay, so some of these training and enhancement awards. So for example, I gave you a list of things, right? And I want to tell you what people got them for. For example, Doug Miller, he got it. He graduated. He's in Columbia. So Doug Miller from Dr. Habibi Khoshbi's lab, he actually got it because he went to Woods Hole, I think, to do a Woods Hole to do a microscopy course. And then there are some people who got graduate fellowships, which is one-time award of about, up to $50,000. Shelby Blaze here, Benjamin Kidd also. And then MBI also gives out Toffler Graduate Leadership or Research Awards. These are very good because, this is not about, going to a conference necessarily or, your research, but it's more about leadership. As a PhD student, are you showing leadership skills, right? Are you doing things not only in your lab, but outside your lab that, we would like to say, okay, this is an emerging leader in the field. And of course, the travel awards to conferences. Now, there are, as I said before, that in our program, your stipends are covered by the principal investigators, but there are various other ways your stipends can get covered, and these are very competitive. Again, these are called T32 institutional placements. So these are funding that we as faculty we get from NIH and then we can have upwards of about 5 or 6 students who are placed in these T32 programs. When you're in the T32 program, nothing changes. You still work in the same lab, but you do get a lot more support in terms of your professional development. So we have quite a lot of these here, and these are all based on different topics of research. For example, the one on top is on Alzheimer's disease and related dementias. We have one on movement disorders, neuromuscular plasticity, neurobiology of breathing, non-pharmacological interventions for aging, vision science, and chemosensory science. These different T32 programs can support different numbers of students per year. And here's information on the directors of those programs. Again, I'll be happy to answer questions about the T32 in case you are curious about it. I also want to stress that we do have students who have got their own F31 funding. I just told you that we highly encourage that students need to need to apply for their own funding at the beginning of year 3 or soon after. So these are some of our successful candidates, Philip Mackey and Andrew Moore. So congratulations to them. They just got individual F awards recently. So you might want to say, okay, so you do all of these things. So what happens after this, right? Because I believe that a graduate course is about learning things, is about learning how to do your science, how to think about science, and you're getting ready for the next phase of your life as a professional, right? So it's very important what the outcomes are because I think some of the, when you join a place, you have to also see where the people are going out when they graduate. And I want to point out again, this is a long list. I'm not going to go through everyone's name here, but I want to say that people have gone to companies such as Covance, they've gone to the National Institutes on Aging, and they've gone to other companies such as Pfizer, and even Eli Lilly, and other universities like us, such as Oregon Health and Science University, Emory University. Here are some of the names that are underlined that they are already faculty. So that means they are already in tenure track positions. So yes, so we have a lot of students that are going out and actually making a name out for themselves in the real world. Okay. I want to talk about the Neuroaging R25 program. This is not really connected with our PhD program, but it is sort of the connections a little bit, but there are some connections, and I'll tell you why. So through this Neuroaging program, we actually get undergraduates that come to our labs to do research. So they can come through this UF undergraduate research program or the summer internship neuroscience program, and sometimes many of them end up as your mentees. So as your mentor is mentoring you, the PhD students, you yourself can mentor some of these very talented students who have been selected through a very competitive process. So I think that's a very good experience to have while you are doing your PhD. The other thing is that we also support a post-baccalaureate training under this R25 program. So if you're interested in the post-baccalaureate program, which is sometimes people take, 1 or 2 years, they spend time in a post-baccalaureate program when they're not 100% sure whether they want to go to research or they want to just try out. Let me do research for 2 years and see how it is, right? So you've just graduated and you're like, I'm not sure I want to go to a 5-year PhD course. So you can get into a post-baccalaureate program and see what doing everyday research is like. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think this is the last but one slide. And I want to say that on top of spending time in the lab, doing high quality research, we also encourage you to engage with our community and reach out to the community. And one of the ways we do that is through the North Central Florida Society for Neuroscience. It is actually the only chapter of the Society for Neuroscience that is student-led. And our leaders are Sabrina here. Sabrina, are you still, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, sure. So this year, actually, our president is Andrew Moore, but I'm going to be working on the conference with Lexi Riley. And so the Society for Neuroscience, it's entirely run by the graduate students, and we do a number of different things with professional development and community outreach in conjunction with the main Society for Neuroscience. And so, for example, this year, because the conference has grown, we're actually expanding to include other universities in the Northern Florida region so that we can actually be a true regional conference. And this is really nice because we're able to invite faculty and other companies and stuff so that current students can network and do all those things here at UF. And we kind of get to guide the direction of the conference. So that's a nice addition.
Yeah. Thank you, Sabrina. I think, last year, I've seen you in action, and Jana too. So other person on this in this picture is Jana right here, and they did an awesome job. And it was just good to be part of this because our when we invite the students, PhD students for interviews, one of the days overlaps with the chapter conference. So, I think there was a lot of, cross connections, good way cross connections. So I think it was an awesome thing to collaborate with you last year, and I think this year also we'll do it next year. So yeah. All right. Okay, so I think that's all that I have to say. This is some information on how to apply. So basically we will have our application portal open until December 15, but I want to strongly encourage you to apply now. The applications are received, processed, and reviewed on a rolling basis. And the ones that come in first, and I'm not trying to be like saying otherwise. I personally look at every application, but if you send in earlier, we might have, oh hey, there's 10, let's go through every one of them. So it's a little bit, relax and all that, but I promise you we go through every application very carefully. But the earlier you apply, the better, I think, the better it is. I think all places will tell you that. Email Miss Ikea, and her email is right here, ilyoung@ufl.edu. If you want to be considered for a fee waiver. And the application requirements are, we need a CV, a curriculum vitae from you, 3 letters of recommendation that you upload on the website, and a personal statement. The personal statement is 1 to 2 pages. We want to understand who you are and why do you want to come here, and whether you have had any experience that compels you to study neuroscience. That's all that we are looking at in the personal statement. We do not require GRE. You can put in the score, but we do not look at it. We do not consider it. And for foreign applicants, this is our university rule. We absolutely have to have a TOEFL or equivalent score. Okay. All right. I think that's all for now.